All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Generation S podcast, NFL episode. We're gonna start out covering Week 9 from the NFL season, and we're gonna go over these games real quick. We had me and Zach both at 8-6, Austin at 6-8. I'm finally back. After my losing week, I'm back winning barely, but still winning. So let's kick this game off with one of the most shocking ones to me that we all got wrong: Buffalo versus Jacksonville. It still doesn't make any sense to me.
King Urban, man. King Urban.
King Urban, bro.
King Urban, he strikes again, baby. All jokes aside, I couldn't think of a more fitting score for an Urban Meyer victory. Uh, but but at the end of the day, he got the job done.
Really?
It was 3 field goals and 2 field goals. That's just fundamental football at the end of the day. And you gotta do what you gotta do. Defense. Josh Allen, shout out UK. They're good, Josh Allen. Just got it done. He had a pick and a sack. I think he had 2 tackles for a loss, a sack, and an interception. So
and a fumble recovery.
Yeah, he's been good for the past couple of years, but this is kind of the first time he was on like a main stage, like against like a really good team, and he showed out, and he pretty much won the game. He didn't, but he did at the same time. He had a lot of pressure on the quarterback the whole game, and it just caused him to mess up. It was like a lot of people compared it, and not really like it wasn't really like in the grand scheme of things, but like they were comparing it to how Mahomes was in the Super Bowl, where he was just constantly pressured, and he just threw interceptions just because he was under pressure all the time, which is true and false. He wasn't like as bad as Mahomes was in the Super Bowl, but when you're constantly getting pressured the entire game, it's just hard to throw like the correct pass every time, and it costs them the game.
Jacksonville just might not lose a game again. Let's be real.
I can see it.
They might just go on a bender and absolutely just win the Super Bowl at this point. But all jokes aside, you brought up the fundamentals of football, basically the equivalent of small ball to baseball. Getting those singles, just rotating the base runners there. But in football, getting that good defense, and then, you would hope for more offense. But hey, whatever gets the job done, and it got the job done. Maybe Urban Meyer got 2 jobs done that night. Who knows? It was a big win. So, but yeah, it hurt me in fantasy, which we'll talk about later, because I had Josh Allen in 2 of my leagues. So that one basically just shot me in the foot. But, big win for Jacksonville.
Any win at this point is a big win for Jacksonville, but what a scene that was. Cincinnati, Cleveland. Cincinnati just played terrible, and Cleveland's a good team still. I feel like it'd be biased of me if I didn't mention it. They stunk. Nobody played good for them. Their defense has been terrible the past 2 weeks. Offense is terrible this week.
Granted, last week you played Joe Montana reincarnate, so that's not your fault.
Yeah,
but
right.
That's not your fault. But this week, yeah, Nick Chubb's been Nick Chubb. He's back healthy. Well, not anymore. He actually has COVID now. But he was last week. But and he just showed what he can do. That's the entirety of their offense. It has been all season. And he's one of the most talented running backs in the league right now. Probably, in my opinion, is the best running back now that Derrick Henry's hurt. And it's just, I don't know. It's just so hard to stop. And again, like you said, their defense has been kind of shaky the past 2 weeks. So they just exploited it to the best of their abilities and just got it done.
Yeah, to me right now, it's just whenever they lost to the Jets, against, Joe Montana incarnate Mike White, I was like, you know what? They didn't have film on it. One of those, it's like, they had to lose at some point. After that, and then it was an embarrassing loss to Cleveland just to score and stuff. It just truly put into perspective, like, this team's not ready. Because coming in the year, they were projected to get 5 wins. They're projected to be 5-12. They're 5-4 right now. So like they're exceeding all expectations. But we were just like, dude, we're gonna go playoffs. We might win a playoff game. It's like, okay, we might, but this team, went from potential top 5 pick to a couple weeks ago was number 1 in the AFC. So like this was just, all of us Bengals fans, all 6 of us were riding that high, and it's like, especially me, I'm more like realistic about it. It's like, okay, like we can still play good football. We can still, we might be able to sneak into a wild card spot. We're not as good as Baltimore. I mean, we lost to Cleveland, but you can tell we're just not as good as Baltimore. Well, we had a Cleveland game against Baltimore a couple weeks ago, but I mean, I don't think it's like, I saw a bunch of things like, just the Bengals being the Bengals. I think that's different. I just think it's a team that's not. I mean, they didn't make that many roster moves and that much development between 2 years. So I think they will be a good team. It's just not as good as what people were hoping for originally, because this is just kind of like a punch in the face of like reality. It's like, okay, we're still at least 1 year away,
I mean, hey, I had to talking about a small fan base. We'll go to Denver, man. Getting it done, and Dallas. It's one game I didn't pick them all season. Makes sense that they'd win at Dallas, and I mean, I don't know. We've owned the Cowboys the past decade, and we're like 9-2 or something. The past like 10 years or something. I don't even know, or whatever the stat was. The past 11, we're like 9-2 or something against them. Granted, we've been good the past decade as a whole, and even recently we've still been beating them even when they're like better than us. I mean, we haven't been good for a while, but I mean, hey, we got it done. Our defense stepped up, showing we don't need Von Miller as much as we thought we did, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, their offenses look better. Melvin Gordon's that running back duo with Melvin Gordon is just scary. I mean, they're both two-way threats and like in the receiving game as well. And then Bridgewater's just he's gotten better as the season's progressed, just little by little. And I don't know, we just got the job done. I mean, and the Cowboys just looked bad, to be honest. I mean, their offenses just carried them all year, and it didn't. I mean, and when their offense doesn't produce at least like 30 points, it's so hard for them to win because their defense has been shaky all year. And then the one spot that they have on their defense, Trayvon Diggs, just got torched all game, and it's just how it is sometimes. I mean, it's a good win. Love to see it.
You guys kind of brought it up before we started recording, but the old Cooper Rush needs to be the quarterback one for the rest of the season. Dak came back, lost the game. Kind of a shame. But didn't really get to watch that much football this week, so I don't really have a whole lot of input. Kind of just shocked when I did see the score. I think I saw it was like 27-0 Denver at one point, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but so that was kind of shocking. Definitely gave fuel to the fire because Dallas is America's team, even though almost everyone hates them. So that kind of gave fuel to the fire of them being, maybe not a Super Bowl contender, especially after losing to Denver. Again, nothing against Denver, obviously a pro team, but definitely was a smack to the face to like 10 Cowboys fans or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, just the only people that go to I think the only fans I have are the people that go to the games. But I don't know. I mean, the last game I want to talk about the Tennessee game. That game kind of just threw me off. I thought it was just a lock. Rams win. I mean, they just lost Derrick Henry, and they're playing in Los Angeles. I don't know. I mean, Adrian Peterson, got to give it to him. Scored him a touchdown. But I mean, in reality, it was the wide receivers that got it done. They're actually stepping up now, and Tannehill's actually having to throw the ball some rather than just giving it to Derrick Henry every single time. But I mean, it's that team's scary when everything's firing on all cylinders. I mean, their defense played very well. Kevin, I think it's Byard, I think is how you say it, had that pick six, and they have some defensive pieces, even though their defense has been kind of subpar all season. But they locked it in against the best team in football, in my opinion, and they got it done. And that's all you really need to do. And their offense is just their strong point in general, so that's never really going to lack very much. But their defense just stepped up and got it done. And Stafford just kind of looked shaky all game. And I don't know. I think he was kind of threw off by how well they were playing on defense because going in like that team, there was their main exploit was just their defense as a whole. And Stafford's been really good at picking defenses apart all year, and he just couldn't do it. So, and then their defense just got torched, to be honest. And I think it was kind of things. I think it kind of had something to do with just like adding Von Miller in and just having a new body out there, and he's kind of just learning everything. And the whole team has to adjust to him being out there and how to play with him. But I don't think their struggles are going to last very long.
I mean, yeah, like I think I don't know. I mean, I think it was just a bad game for Los Angeles. Like I do think they're gonna be fine. Like no reason to press the panic button. But like their offensive line played so bad. Like Stafford was under pressure all game. Like all I saw was memes of like, oh, Matt Stafford played the Lions last week or whenever it was. Play the Lions a couple weeks ago, and paying homage to him to play like he did there. And then I saw a bunch of like him playing like Carson Wentz, and I thought those were funny too. But yeah, I don't know. This hurts me because I always thought, I was a big like, oh, Tannehill doesn't really deserve. I mean, Tannehill's not that guy, but somebody had thrown the ball, for receivers to do as well as they did this week. But I think these are two playoff teams definitely. So, I mean, I'm shocked by the outcome, especially with no Derrick Henry, but I still think I think this proved that Tennessee's still a good team even without Derrick Henry. I don't think they were going to win. Like I think this is a big, momentum win for them, moving forward.
And if you're Los Angeles, I don't think you worry that much unless this becomes a normal thing where your defense, like Zach said, is being torched and your offense isn't as powerful as it was. But they have Cooper Kupp, they have Robert Woods, and then on the defense, I think like Zach said, the addition of Von Miller maybe it was just that week where having that new person, letting him kind of learn things and kind of getting into the system of the Rams. I think that was one of the problems this week. But then again, give props to Tennessee for coming out to play. But yeah, if you're Los Angeles, I wouldn't worry. I think they're going to have a bounce back week this coming week against San Francisco. So I don't think there's too much to worry about. I still think they're going to be in the Super Bowl, honestly. So.
As sad it is to admit, we are finished with Week 9, so the Super Bowl football season seems to be the end is seeming to come closer and closer each week, believe it or not. But those were you could see, those are the games that we wanted to talk about. Ironically enough, those are the games that all of us missed, all of us got wrong. But overall, I mean, if you look at it, it's a pretty average week for all of us. About close. You could do probably one more switch perfect to where it be average. But anyway, we're going to move on to we'll do a Week 10 preview. Austin's already putting his picks because he doesn't care if somebody gets hurt. He's still picking them. We have Baltimore versus Miami, New Orleans versus Tennessee. You can read the rest. We got Cleveland versus New England might actually be a good game this week. That might actually be a good game. If you told me at the beginning of the season, I'd have laughed at you. If you told me that week 2 during the season, I would have laughed at you. New England's been on a roll, and I see that's who you picked. I might have to. It's a perfect letdown spot for Cleveland. This almost seems like a sucker pick. Zach, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Now that Chubb's out, it just kind of, I think that's and Hunt's out. Both of the running backs are out. So, I mean, you still have Dearness Johnson, who actually has played well every time he's had the chance to play. But I don't know. I think I mean, New England has one of the best defenses in football. So, I think if you have Dearness Johnson, if that's your guy that you're going off to, and then you just lost Odell, who, I mean, you didn't throw to him anyway, apparently, but there's always a good guy to have out there. And you lost another offensive piece. I don't know. I still don't think I don't think it's like an auto win for New England because Cleveland's still a good team at the end of the day. But I think it just makes it hard for their. I think their offense is going to struggle heavily against their defense, especially with their main guys out.
Austin, how about you take us through some of the explanations for your picks?
Kind of just skimming through this. Again, I basically picked New England because of Chubb being out, and like you said, New England's been on a roll. Again, like you both said, it's not really a surefire pick. 100% New England's gonna win. I just think I wouldn't be surprised if New England did win. Kind of just looking at this Seattle versus Green Bay. I was actually going back and forth. I think I might change this pick if Aaron Rodgers is back because I think Sunday is like the 10th day. So I don't know if he can join back on that 10th day or he has to wait again. So if Aaron Rodgers comes back, I think I'll put Green Bay. I don't know if Green Bay is going to put Aaron Rodgers in right after those 10 days off or if they're going to go back to Jordan Love, who wasn't so hot. And then I believe Russell Wilson is also coming back this week, so that might give a boost to Seattle. So that's why I have Seattle over Green Bay right now. But again, that could change depending on the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. And yeah, other than that, I have Kansas City over Las Vegas. Kansas City, again, they won against Green Bay last week, but I wouldn't say it was because of a huge team win. I mean, it was 13-7. Again, when you're going up against Jordan Love, no wonder why Green Bay wants to keep Aaron Rodgers. And I think Las Vegas just has a little bit too much going on. So that's why I have Kansas City over Las Vegas. But yeah, I mean, all the other picks that I have are kind of clean cut. Like, I want to say like easy picks, but with last week, you never know what's an easy pick and what's not. So, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cookie cutter games this week, like Baltimore, Miami, Buffalo, the Jets. Can't say anything about Buffalo anymore, but there's also Jacksonville. Granted, it was on the road, but still, I mean, this game's on the road as well. It depends on who plays. If Mike White plays, I'm probably gonna pick the Jets. I mean, it's an easy pick, really. But I don't know, like Pittsburgh playing Detroit, obviously, like Jacksonville playing Indianapolis, and then like Tampa Bay playing Washington. I mean, all these are just like Arizona, Carolina. I do like the Minnesota pick. I've been a big Minnesota advocate all year. They still to this day have yet to lose a football game by more than one possession. Through 9 weeks, they've yet to lose a game by more than one possession. And
Kirk Cousins doesn't deserve a job.
I mean, he's been actually really solid all year. But
if I'm Minnesota, I'm trading Kirk Cousins for Mike White straight up.
I mean, that's an easy pick. I'd trade Tom Brady for Mike White straight up, but that's just me. But I mean, I like Minnesota's eventually going to have to get over this hump, and I think the Chargers are. I mean, they're okay, but I think that this would be a good win for them. And then I'm not picking Kansas City. I'm not.
No, I'm not touching them with a 10-foot pole.
I'm not. I can't do it anymore, man. I mean, last week was just pitiful. Yeah, you can put it. I'm not. Yeah, you can put it.
I never won my picks in before I said ever.
Yeah, but yeah, you can keep mine. I really don't care. But I'm not picking.
Carr can get hurt tomorrow.
I still would pick. I would literally still pick Las Vegas.
Who's their backup? I don't even know who their backup is.
I don't care. I don't know. It's
Peterman. Isn't it Peterman?
Maybe it could be me. Probably. I think
it's Nathan Peterman.
Well, I don't know. Kansas City has been pitiful the past probably at least 4 weeks. At least 4 weeks now, and I mean that was so. I mean even last week was terrible. I mean they put up 13 against the Packers without Aaron Rodgers, and I mean they had to squeak out a game where Jordan Love was the quarterback, and they got rolled by the Titans. They got they beat Washington, I guess, like 3 weeks ago by like more than one possession. But since then they really got beat or they've been in really close games. Well, they beat the Giants by 3. Oh, big win there. And I don't know, it's just the team's so shaky. And Las Vegas isn't terrible. I mean, they've had some good wins this year, and I don't know. I think they'll get over the hump with all the situations that have been going on there. I think they'll get something figured out, and I mean, I think it'll be close still. Wouldn't be surprised if Kansas City won, but I would also not be surprised at all if they lost. But yeah, I'm just not. I'm not. I'm off the Kansas City boat now. It's just, at least for now, they're gonna have to prove something fast if I'm gonna get back on that boat.
I don't know if as an optimistic Bengals fan, if I want to try to be the genius that predicts Detroit's first win. Just keep picking them until they win. I don't think they're going to win this game, but how smart would I look if I picked them? But I mean, I liked a lot of the games that you guys talked about. I, there's I might not pick Minnesota the rest of the year. I think they stink.
They don't.
Because last year or 2 years ago, the Lions lost like, I don't remember what it was, how many they lost, but like I think it was like they lost 10 games within either a single score or like a field goal maybe. I can't remember what it was. It was like, it had to be a single score that, but not good for 3. But like if you're still not winning those games, it doesn't matter if you're close or not. You're still not winning them. But most thing I'm looking forward to on this card is Bengals bye week. You get to relax, you get to watch some football. And my team won't lose to the bye week, They shouldn't lose. They're favored. But yeah, I feel like I've said this 3 weeks in a row, and then there've been crazy games, upset games. This kind of looks like, cookie cutter games, apple picking weekend, as El Pres would say. But this is the games coming up, and we got a couple of guys. Austin's giving his picks. Zach's elaborating on his. I think one sneaky one. If Tampa Bay wouldn't, because when did Tampa Bay lose? 2 weeks ago?
I lost to New Orleans.
Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
And then did they have a bye week?
I don't think so. They might have, but I couldn't. Yeah, they did.
If they would have won last week, I might have picked the football team here, just because they played well against them in the playoffs last year. I don't know. I just don't see many of these upsets happening. I will pick Seattle. I haven't picked Seattle very much this year, but if Russell Wilson is playing, I probably. And I don't know. It depends on if Aaron Rodgers playing, like you said. Philadelphia versus Denver. No thanks. No thanks, Zach. Probably will pick Denver, to be honest.
Be a slaughter, really, at the end of the day.
But yeah, I don't know. These games aren't doing it for me. Jacksonville might get a division win over Indianapolis. That'd probably be my upset if I had to pick an upset. Jacksonville get on a roll. I don't know. I just don't know why I'm trying to believe this narrative that they're not that bad because they've won games, but I just think they're that bad. Jacksonville.
I mean, they're not good.
Like,
I mean,
in my head, I'm like, they're not bad, and like they could win, and then like, sure they won games, but it's like then you watch them play, and it's like, oh yeah. I mean, they scored 9 points. They scored 3 field goals. Like, that's not good football. Yeah, definitely. The thing I'm looking forward to most on this card, the thing I'm most excited about is Cincinnati not being on bye week. Get to relax. Between being a Kentucky football fan and a Bengals fan, I need a break from football for a week. But if we're gonna go ahead and transition into fantasy, go over fantasy before we get into anything else.
I've been waiting for this moment. I've been waiting for it.
It's a rough week. My team was terrible.
I basically played a JV team for fantasy this week.
True. I mean, I do this week, so. the score? My highest player team scored 15 points. God, that shit.
Zach, you want to go ahead and Zach, you're Austin, me too. This is your guys' game.
I'll start it.
Yeah.
I mean, going into fantasy, I mean, it was a down week for me. I mean, nobody really did anything. As you can see, I mean, my three highest people were 14, 13, and 12. So that's just never good. And I think my kicker wasn't too far off of 12. I think Young Hoku got like 11. So I almost had a kicker up there. I mean, it just wasn't a good week. Just a lot of things just didn't really go my way in terms of I mean, most of the teams that I had, I mean, not only these three guys, but everybody else on my team, like their teams won, they just didn't get any touches. So it's just kind of how it works in fantasy football sometimes. Just got bad end of the stick. Hopefully I can bounce back. That's pretty much all I got. It was just a rough week.
It really was the week of the underdogs this week. I mean, you can tell my top two scores there. That Battle of Ohio really benefited me, and it didn't benefit Luke there at the end result. But I'll take 58 points from two running backs. It's pretty good. And then Keenan Allen being right there behind him, kind of just a powerful week. I probably won't have this week again for the rest of the week or rest of the year. Got to be honest. But hey, you'll take them when you can get them. Slowly and surely, basically clinching my playoff spot because let's be real, kind of just looking at the other two teams in the West Division. I'm 3 games ahead of them, and look at their scores from this week. They're not great. So kind of just padding my stats so far before we head into playoffs here in about 5 weeks. But the week I had, I'll take any week that I can. So.
Moving on to my game, it was simple, cut and dry. Played a guy in Chase line up, and even if he could have, he couldn't have. His team isn't exactly S tier, but I mean, my defense out here, friggin' balling. I didn't even realize that they had 19 points. And then Lamar had a good game, 30, and then Kamar had 20, and then like everything else, it's like nothing crazy. It's everybody else would have been less than 19. So, I was projected to win this game heavily, and then like probably about during halftime of the 1:00 games, I checked fantasy and I had like a 95% chance to win. I was like, okay, I feel pretty good about this. So I didn't really check it much after that. And then rounding it out, the didn't check their team fantasy cup championship, 100-51. That's and Jonathan Taylor had 34. So that's tough. But yeah, I mean, I'm 6-3. Somehow, like I said, I won. Still not first in the division. Second. So hopefully, hopefully I can get him next week. I don't even know who I play next week, to be honest. I hope it's Jake. It'd be ideal if it was. I'll take it. Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I've also got a couple of roster moves in the work, so hopefully that gets to happen. But hopefully those go through. But how you guys feeling about your fantasy matchups?
Well, solid, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, I couldn't have a worse week than I mean, I could, I guess. But I mean, it'd be hard to have a worse week than I had last week. And I don't know, I mean, I'm like happy with my team. I mean, my team's been solid all year. I just have to have a good day. I mean, I just have some guys that are kind of dependent on just like their court. I mean, that's kind of a dumb thing to say, like depending on the quarterback. But a lot of guys are like good that I have, but they just like don't get. I just don't think they get as many touches as they should. Like AJ Brown doesn't get probably nearly as many touches as he should sometimes because Nathaniel just not throwing the ball at all. And then again, like McCaffrey's back now, so that's kind of been a hindrance in my team the past few weeks. So I mean, he's gonna obviously produce. And then Thielen's been getting just less and less touches. But I mean, when he does get touches, he does really well. Like he just has like big games. Like it helps the team like win. So I don't know why they don't throw him the ball more. But again, like it's just kind of weird because I have like decent guys that just like don't throw him the ball. They don't hand it off as much as they should. But I don't know. It just depends on how the quarterback's feeling, I guess.
I think for me, kind of just looking at the matchup and just taking a peek at those projected leaders, I don't know how I feel. I mean, Jake's team is obviously pretty good. They're 6-3, or he's 6-3. Again, kind of echoing what Zach said, it basically depends on how the game goes. Looking at my projected leaders, Josh Allen, sure he's playing the Jets, but if he plays exactly like he did, or if the Jets defense somehow plays exactly like Jacksonville defense and just holds Josh Allen to 13 points, then I'm screwed.
It was like 9. It was like 9.5 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And like if Jordan Love, if he plays, doesn't pass to Devontae Adams, or if Aaron Rodgers, if Devontae Adams having an off week, and same for Jake's team, Patrick Mahomes. I know Zach has Patrick Mahomes, but in one of my other leagues, one of my buddies has both Patrick Mahomes and Hill, and they've been averaging him like 18 points combined. So it depends how Tyreek Hill does this week against Las Vegas. Again, depending on Mahomes. And then will Dak Prescott have a bounce back week? And will Pittsburgh use Najee Harris, or will they go to the pass game? So again, it all depends on how the games unfold. Not feeling too great about it, but fantasy, anything can happen. Najee Harris can drop 50, or Josh Allen can drop 50. That's obviously being rhetorical, but as of right now, I'm not feeling good. But at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Sunday, I could totally be feeling different. So it depends. But
I'm feeling pretty good about where I'm at. I'm playing 2-17, and I feel good about it. I also just like my roster. I've just made not many, but just a couple moves here and there. A couple weeks ago, I picked up Deebo Samuel, and he's been really good for me. And then I feel like now that James is hurt, they're gonna try to run a lot more with Kamara and involve him a lot more, just because he's just so good. And then Lamar, I feel like Lamar, it's hard because sometimes Lamar will have 30, and then other weeks he'll have like 8. Justin Herbert usually stays between 15 to 20 from what I've seen, just checking it. So that's tough. But I got Travis Kelce, so I'm about to throw him away. I'm about to give him away because he's getting me like 4 fantasy points a game. That's good. That's good. And he's projected 16. He usually gets me like 4. And then Patriots defense, can't leave them ever. They clutched up for me last week, 19 points. So I mean, yeah, I think anything could happen. John's got a loaded team. Cooper Kupp's been going nuts this year. Russell Wilson's coming back, so I think anything could happen. But I do like where I'm sitting at the moment, at least. I don't know. It says I got 8 left to play. It's because my kicker's on a bye week, and I got to figure out who to get as a kicker. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, there we go. That's our fantasy from last week. This is our fantasy matchups this week. It'd be nice. I'm probably rooting for Austin at this point. Keep beating teams in my division, so I keep moving up the leaderboard. Get that top spot. But we'll have to see. But moving on, just to some more general league news and some new stories around the league. I don't know if you guys got to if the listeners got to see it, I'm sure if you have any form of social media, you saw it. But the taunting rule, the devil's rule, is on full display now with the ref that hit checked the guy and threw a flag against him. I believe there was some kind of crazy kick before, but like just it's getting out of hand. Like if you're on Twitter at all, that's all Twitter is for me at this point. I'm not into politics, so that's not on my Twitter timeline. But all my Twitter is no fun league. That's all it's saying. So what are your guys' thoughts on how do you think this is like, this is getting blown out of proportion, or do you think it's like refs are making these games, they're deciding games, they're making them not fun, where are you guys standing there at the moment at least?
You can go, Austin.
Sorry, Zach. I think I kind of saw the video of what you're talking about. And unless I'm going crazy, I'm pretty sure I saw the ref back up into the player. I don't know if that's the same video. I'm pretty sure it's the same video, but I'm pretty sure I just saw the ref back up into the player. So I don't know how any of that is taunting, especially with how, I don't know, just the way I saw the video. Again, you guys can have your thoughts on it. But the way I saw the video and how he basically just backed up into the player, I don't know how that's taunting. And, you guys are kind of right. We talked about this in the MLB, kind of having that character to a game adds a lot. Doesn't matter what league it is. So the fact that, you literally dance for more than 2 seconds and you're getting a flag, I think that's just dumb. But yeah, that video kind of just throws things into a dumpster fire, even though it already was. So, but yeah, that's basically all my thoughts. I think it's dumb, and hopefully something changes, but we all know it won't. So.
Yeah, he just said, like I bring it up in baseball all the time. I don't care. The players should be able to do whatever they want when they're on the field in terms of celebration stuff. It ain't hurting nobody, as long as they're not just throwing helmets and stuff like at players and throwing punches. Then who cares what they do? As long as they're not harming themselves or harming each other, then who cares? And yeah, it just adds just character, and it adds fan involvement, which is just always a good thing. All the players love getting the crowd in the games and every sport, and that's why they're there at the end of the day. But yeah, it's just getting. I don't think it hasn't really happened this year. It hasn't been prominent enough to like make headlines until now, which is a good thing. We're halfway in now, and it's just now making a headline, which is a good thing at least at the end of the day. But at the end, refs can't decide games. That just can't happen in any sport, but especially in football. You just can't just a call can't like decide a game, or a call that shouldn't even have happened. Let alone like calls happen, like things happen. Refs misplay, do bad calls or whatever happens, but they don't always like lose games. That call lost a game and it's a call that shouldn't even be a thing, which makes it even worse. But I think taunting is the dumbest thing ever. Uh, I so who cares? That's just my thing. And just who cares? And just let the players do what they want. Let them have fun, and just get out of the way. You literally have one of the easiest jobs on the planet. You're sitting there calling an NFL game. You get to stand on the sideline and talk to the players the whole time, and you're trying to be a bigger man than what you are. Who cares? Like nobody cares. If they didn't blow the whistle at all and they just stood there like scarecrows, nobody would give two less craps about it. Like nobody cares what they do, and they're just trying to get themselves involved, and it's just bad for the sport. And I hope it stays out of headlines. I hope this is just the only occurrence that happens the rest of the year. And that's pretty much what I got to say about it.
Yeah, you see players come out and say like, this guy makes a play. He's on a small deal, like that Bears player. He was signed from the practice squad. He makes a big play. Could potentially, get himself a contract and make generational wealth, and then it gets taken away because a ref, living vicariously wants to play the NFL, so he, calls a flag and change the game. So it's, you hate to see it. It's truly, it makes the battle on the league, forget that, they lost that game. Like, I mean, it's bad on the league as a whole. Like, it just makes it look bad and turning people away from it, bringing back the, trending no fun league NFL. So hopefully they figure it out. Probably won't. Udell probably keep away since with this rule. But other than that, we got, good old stinky man himself, Odell Beckham Jr., released from the Browns. And has he cleared waivers? Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
I heard certain teams said that they're not picking him up through waivers. I don't know if
No, I mean he got
So,
cleared. He got cleared today.
You guys heard about that?
I mean he's
Okay.
he's
Okay.
officially cleared.
Because the first thing I saw was that I saw that line said that they weren't in the market for him. So, but where do you guys think he'll end up, if anywhere?
I mean, there's a couple teams that like make sense. I mean, I've seen like the Raiders are big ones. Like the Raiders and the Ravens, I think are the two like Vegas front runners right now. But I mean, I mean, he's going to go to a contender. I would think. I don't think the Raiders are a contender. But I think it's like a kind of good fit. I mean, you just lost your like main receiver, uh, and like they're definitely not a bad team. But I think he would want to go to a contender, and I think like the better he gets, like the better team, he'll take like less money. I don't think he'll take that. I mean, he won't go that low because his ego's so like massive. He'll only go so low. But I think if he gets like I mean, he won't go to like the Rams or like the Buccaneers or anything. But I think I could definitely see like the Ravens or somebody like a divisional leader that's not just like a complete powerhouse. I feel like that could be a thing. If I had to take a bet, I would go Ravens just because they don't have like the strongest wide receiver core, and they're a solid team, and they can definitely use a guy like that just to just pad up the offense a little more. Because it's not like their strongest point. I mean, they have a good run game, but their passing game's kind of been bad ever since Lamar's got there. And I mean, he would definitely help. I mean, he's a high quality receiver. So that's my bet would be Baltimore as of right now.
Basically, my thoughts are exactly what Zach said. I've heard Raiders and Ravens. Um, and I also think Zach's right. I don't think he's going to go to a powerhouse team. I think, like Zach said again, he'll go to a contender, but obviously not a powerhouse team. I think he definitely wants to kind of reshape his game and kind of establish himself over again. So I think he's going to go to a team that allows him to do that, whether that's wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. But yeah, again, everything that Zach said is what I thought. Raiders, Ravens are the top 2 teams I see. So
I've been seeing a lot about Baltimore as well. Vegas done in there some. One team that I've seen I think would be interesting. I don't know if they actually do it, but I think would be very interesting is Green Bay. I think hard to say that Green Bay is a Super Bowl contender at the moment. Like, true, not like will do well in the playoffs, but to say that they're a Super Bowl team, I feel like that's hard to believe. But I think the addition of OBJ would be good for them, especially because OBJ wouldn't have to come in and be there. Wide receiver 1 there, main guy. He can produce at a level with Devontae Adams on the other side, so that makes his job easier. It makes Devontae's job easier. Maybe the Packers want Aaron Rodgers on the team, for more than just this year. So they might get him a weapon to try to make him happy. So I feel like it makes a lot of sense, but the Packers are the Packers, so they probably won't do it. So I think if he's not doing it for money, like if he's not just going to go somewhere and then just want like a big check, then I do agree with you guys that it'd probably be Baltimore, just because I think that fits the mold. And I think, I just don't see him going to that division rival now. I'm thinking about, I don't know where he's going to end up. I feel like Green Bay would be my guess, but it just doesn't seem logical. I mean, it doesn't seem like something they would do. It seems logical in a team building, team growing aspect. But as far as, do I think it'll actually happen? It's kind of hard to believe. So he's a weird one. I don't know where he'll fit in. I think Arizona maybe. I don't think they do it. It's just gonna be interesting. I mean, Vegas usually knows something, whenever these odds come out. So Raiders and the Raiders and the Ravens are probably high up there for a reason. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Looking forward to it. Hopefully he can have success wherever he goes to after that, or wherever he goes to next. But yeah, there we go. We got, fantasy in, our predictions in. Hopefully we can, bring it back up, bring our predictions back up, get on fire. Maybe we'll get a perfect week this week. Who knows? All three of us. That'd be sick. We'd have to have the exact same. So that probably actually won't happen because I get nervous about that a lot. If I see everyone's leaning one way, I kind of want to go the other. But hopefully, we get perfect weeks here coming up soon. Season's almost ending. Tragic. But yeah, we got fantasy predictions on NFL news. So that'll probably do it for us, guys. So we appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. Show us to your parents. Show us to anybody. We're always looking for new people to come in and watch us. So, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.